Hello and welcome to the debut episode of the tentatively titled The Collection Reflection. Like I said, tentatively titled because I am not 100% in love with it yet. So give me some feedback. Let me know if you got a better name, if you love it, if you hate it, whatever. Uh, so what we're going to do here is talk to collectors of different things, different genres, um, and try to see kind of what makes them tick, or at least what makes them collect what they collect. And because to me, it's always interesting when you talk to somebody that collects whatever, because that normally they open up, you could just tell that that is what they're totally passionate about, and you just see the real them, and see their excitement, their real excitement about whatever they're talking about, whatever the topic may be. So, without further ado, my very first guest, and thank you so much for being here
You're welcome.
on the Collection Reflection, is the owner and curator of the Odditorium in Lapeer, the stunningly statuesque Kristin Griffis.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
How are you?
I'm alive. How are you?
Yeah, I'm the same. So so that's a good thing that
Right.
that we are both alive. So we'll get into your what exactly you consider oddities and what you sell at the store in a minute. But
Okay.
before we get to that, I wanted to get you a little something for being on the show. But then the
Okay.
little birdie told me that you have a birthday in 2 days. So
This is true? Who would have
so I
told
got
you
you.
that?
just a little Facebook birdie.
A little. Okay.
So you don't necessarily have to open it now, but
Well, what do you mean? I feel like I should.
it's up to you. Happy birthday.
Oh,
And
thank you.
thank you once again for
I'm
being
totally
here.
opening it now.
Really
so.
appreciate it.
Yeah, no
Um,
problem. Oh.
So I can explain.
Yes.
Okay. You have it?
No, what I was going to say is I just got a DVD player.
You just got one? That is perfect then. So you told me, I asked you before I know that you're a horror fan, and you told me that there was a couple like horror movies that you told me. Unfortunately, those are like they seem to be two of the most hated horror movies
The ones I said?
out there, and I couldn't find like anything about. I assumed that you already own them, so I didn't want you to. I didn't want to get the DVD for you.
Oh,
But
you even wrote a little. Aw, thanks,
So-
Tim.
Yeah, no problem.
Aw. Okay.
So anyway, that movie, the remake of Night of the Living Dead,
Okay.
is in my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
So you'll have to let me know what you think.
I will.
I don't know if you're a zombie fan or not.
I like
but,
zombies.
Okay.
Who doesn't like zombies?
Well, I'm sure we can find it.
A lot of
Find a
people.
way.
Yeah.
So, so let's get to it. Now, what exactly do you consider oddities? What does your store sell?
So the way I explain it is because a lot of people ask me what are oddities. So the way I explain it is it's like the weirder side of antiques. You know what I'm saying? So like
Well, I do because I've been to your store.
right. So
but
like,
some people might not.
old funeral home, anything like death related, old dental, medical, dead animals in jars, aka wet specimens, human bones. Yeah, I sell all that. Anything that's creepy and not right, I sell.
All right.
Anything that's gonna weird out your grandma, I sell.
Right. I've seen that. I actually had my daughter there, who's 5.5, the other day, and you weren't there. But
Right.
but but yeah, she wasn't too into it.
No.
She was trying to get me to get one of your prosthetic limbs for my dad for Father's Day. She
Oh.
thought that he would really enjoy that. But
Is he missing a limb?
but no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
she just thought that he would really enjoy that for some reason. But I talked her out of it. We got him something else. But
Oh, bummer. Too
so
funny.
so how long? Obviously, you collected these things before you decided to sell them
Yes.
yourself, like a lot of collectors do.
Right.
So what got you into this particular type of?
Well, I definitely started out collecting antiques. So, like, me and my ex have been together, well, we just split, but we were together almost 13 years. Him and I picked it up together, going, like, garage sailing into antique stores. And so we started really collecting antiques. And then through that, we would find weird things, you
Yeah.
know, and at the time, we're just like, look at these weird things.
Yeah.
And then that oddities show came out. It was legit called Oddities.
Yes.
And when that show came out, we were like, oh my gosh, we collect oddities. Like,
Yeah.
that's what this stuff is called.
Oh, really? So you didn't? So you
So-
had no inkling until you saw that that's what they were.
We
that they're-
were
the
collecting
name of that show.
oddities before oddities even had a name. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh,
it was
that's
just
cool.
weird stuff.
Right.
So yeah, so I mean that's kind of how we got into it, I guess. Just
Okay.
as a couple,
Okay.
doing coupley things.
All right. Well, that's good. So so you did you. So have you always had like kind of an interest in the spookier side of things, or I don't know. I say macabre. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
supposed to be
that's a good word.
macabre or
I
macabre.
think
How do you
it's
pronounce it?
macabre.
Okay,
think
that's
it's
what I always
macabre.
said, but I've heard other people say macabre.
Yeah, that's
So
weird.
yeah,
think
I
it's
thought so
macabre.
too. Okay, good. At least we're on the same page there. So have you
Oh.
always had an interest in that, or not so much?
I don't know, like as a child.
No.
When did it start? I mean, I was always unique. Like in high school and stuff, I always dressed like nobody else dressed. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? So I was always a really unique person.
But you didn't. So it's not like you were dissecting animals to see what made them work or
Unfortunately,
anything like
no.
that. Oh, no, that's not unfortunate. That's
Right, because
that's
now
very
I'd probably
fortunate.
be killing people. Because
Exactly,
because
that's how they all start, right?
Right.
So thank God, you would not be on the show.
Right. I'd be in prison. This would be like me admitting, like, I'm a serial killer. But I'm not, I promise.
Okay, that remains to be seen. So do you remember like the first item, your first oddity that you bought, by any chance? If not, it's no big deal. But let's say
Probably-
if you don't know that, the first one
have
that you
it.
were like, okay,
Okay. Or, like you said, the first one that I was like,
really
holy
excited about.
score.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, again, this is before oddities were oddities. You
Right.
know, we got a, it's from 1886, and it's a human hair wreath. So, like, back in the Victorian era, when loved ones passed, they'd cut their hair, and they would build flowers out of the dead hair.
Okay.
And, like, turn it into these really pretty, like, wreaths.
Hmm.
And it was super common back in the Victorian times. But we found that, and that thing, I mean, can people see me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
that
yeah.
thing's probably like this big. Like today, that's probably a $1,200 piece. We got it for $200.
Oh, right.
Like, I don't think the people knew what they had.
Right.
And it
Well,
wasn't
obviously
cool
not,
then.
right?
You know
Oh,
what I'm
okay,
saying?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so that was a major score.
So were you guys just like going to regular
Antiques, malls,
antique
and-
stores and
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it wasn't common then. So you
Right.
know what I mean? These vendors had these items that they really didn't know what they were sitting on,
Yeah.
you know? And now
Yeah.
these antique people
Right.
know what they got because of all the shows and all the, you know,
Yeah.
all the stuff
Yeah.
that's on the media.
Yeah.
So now it's harder
So-
to find deals.
Okay. Yeah,
mean-
I know how that is with the stuff
Yeah.
I collect, and I collect
Right.
something totally different, but I know how it is.
Yeah.
Where it's like you see stuff, and I kick myself so many times because it's like I should buy this stuff because I like it, and it's cheap.
Yeah.
And then next time I go to look, the prices have just gone through the roof.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a ton of stuff like that. That I, and I should know better at this point because I've been a collector myself for, let's see, since about 95.
Okay.
I mean, I still have stuff from when I was a kid, but yeah, like a hard collector since like 95.
Yeah.
So I should know better, but
Yes.
I still make mistakes like that, huge mistakes like that. So, what would you say if you have one? What would you say is your favorite piece or your most prized possession?
Man, these questions are intense.
I was trying to throw you softball. I told you I wasn't going to throw you any hardballs.
And it's like, I am going through like a divorce right now, so we had to. That was by far the hardest part was splitting
Splitting
up our
everything.
oddities.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I've been there
Like,
before with Star Wars figures.
Yeah. Okay. So. Like my collection's pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know anything about it, but I like to go and just like look around, and I don't even know what I'm looking at, but it's cool. It's cool to me,
Right.
too. Is there anything? Speaking of kicking yourself, well, me. Is there anything that you sold that you regret selling? I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I do that all the time, but I have so much stuff. It's like, am I really gonna miss that? No, but it's like after I think about it, it's like, why did I sell it?
Yeah. Right. It's such a humdinger.
Is there anything that like sticks out like?
Well, I sold a taxidermy skunk, and I was pretty bummed out about that because you don't come across taxidermy skunk very often.
Really?
So
Oh, that's good to know.
yeah, I'm pretty bummed out about that one. I'm sure there's more if I really dug into my noggin, but that skunk, I think about him
For real. And you have not come across another one.
no one.
Really?
But I know the dude who I sold it to, and I feel like I could say, listen, I regret
Yeah.
you selling you that. Could I buy it back?
Well, hopefully he's watching the show, and he'll have some
Keith, come on, man.
sympathy for you. Now, you create some of the stuff yourself.
Yeah.
Like there's these things that I've seen you make. Well, you don't do the taxidermy yourself.
I don't. No, I jar
But-
up like the wet specimens.
Okay, I know you do those, but you do take some of the taxidermy stuff and change it. Like I've seen, like maybe like a duck with a doll head.
Yeah.
So you make stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, now you just came up with that
Oh, yeah,
out
totally.
of the blue.
Totally.
So okay,
I totally did.
yeah, all right. So it's not
Don't
like
get me started.
so there's no like class that teaches you anything like that.
No, it's just my art.
Okay.
You know what I'm? Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me and James's art. But yeah, I remember like the first piece I ever made. I just had this doll, this old doll, and I had a mink skull, and I was like, James, let's cut the head off this doll and glue the mink skull on it. And then like we had an old little monocle-y type thing, like an antique little monocle. So then I like put that on his little eye and like,
Yeah.
and then I had this really dope, I don't know, it's not a shadow box, but like a tall glass shadow boxy type thing. And he
Okay.
fit in there just perfect. And
okay.
that was in we still have it. You know what I'm
Do
saying?
you have it at the store?
No,
Or
at-
that's something
at a-
that you
yeah,
keep it for
personal
yourself?
collection because it was the first one we ever made. But yeah, it's just literally just one day I was like, hey, let's do this with this, and then we did so many that's with that's.
Okay. So have you ever thought? Has anybody approached you about teaching them that skill, or have you ever thought about maybe having a class at the auditorium where you teach people how to do stuff like that?
I did think about teaching people how to do up like wet specimens.
Okay.
Because when I was trying to figure out how to do wet specimens, of course you get on YouTube. That's like the first place you go.
Yeah, for pretty much
For
everything. now.
anything.
Right.
Like you need to change a tire, go on YouTube.
Exactly.
You need to change your air filter, go on
Right.
YouTube. Like,
Right.
so I went on YouTube and there were no videos whatsoever that were correct on how to like jar up a wet specimen. And I'm like, so I actually found a professional and I asked her about it, and she's the one who taught me. But yeah, so
just so people know what we're talking about, you did bring a few things, and I think you brought a wet specimen. So if you wouldn't mind showing it to this camera over there. Now what is that?
So this is a stillborn Chihuahua puppy.
Okay. Now how do you obtain that?
Dead puppies.
Yes. How do you obtain the dead puppies?
Can you see anywhere if I'm showing this?
I'm pretty sure that I cannot, but I'm pretty sure that
all right. So
that
a
would be
puppy.
good.
I'm sure lots of people don't want close-ups anyways. So I have hookups. I got a vet hookup.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
So if a dog has a litter of puppies,
Mm-hmm.
they will take the stillborn to the vet?
Well, a lot of times, like when people's dogs, not a lot of times, some people do this, like when their dog's about to have puppies, they'll take them to the vet.
Oh.
Because they don't want to deal with the delivery.
Okay.
You know, so.
I didn't know. I knew that was a thing that they did years ago, years and years ago. I didn't know that was
I think people still do that because that wouldn't make sense as to how I get my dead puppies.
Okay. What else? And you brought some other things too?
Oh, some human bones.
Okay. Now, definitely, how do you obtain those? Because I've been to your store, and I saw that, and I had to look it up because I was like, how does somebody? I still don't know how you get them, but it is totally legal.
It's totally legal
to own and sell.
Yes.
But how do you obtain those?
I got a human bone guy. You know what? It's really just a matter of finding hookups.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got my hookup.
Okay.
He's here in the U.S.
All right.
He ain't going and digging up graves or anything crazy like that.
Right. I know that you've had human skulls before.
Yeah.
And those have sold for. So is it just like, I mean, how would your bone guy come across?
He
like,
has a
even
bone girl.
Obtain those? But how does she? How would she obtain those?
A lot of it is like medical specimens.
Okay.
Would be used in medical schools, doctor's office, whatever. That's usually how most people get skulls. And like I was talking to this one dude who was a fire marshal, and he was telling me how he knows somebody at one of the colleges, and every semester they have to get a new human skull.
Oh.
For, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if that's every semester,
yeah,
and all these different medical college, that's a lot of human skulls.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when
Yeah.
you think of it like that, it's like, all right, makes sense.
Now I've noticed that is one thing that pretty much sells out when you get it.
Yeah.
That is immediately gone.
They're hard to keep.
I did not know that there was such a market.
Like I've sold, I think, 5 human skulls since I opened my shop. So
And
I opened December of 2018.
Okay. Okay. So going on almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's.
And I sold
It's
5.
pretty good ratio.
Yeah.
And I've seen what they sell for, and they sell for quite a bit. So.
And right now, like I always try to have one in my shop because like even if people aren't collectors themselves, I would still advise them to come check out my shop because if anything, it's a museum. Like you're gonna see things there that you're not gonna see really anywhere else.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
I can definitely vouch for that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you definitely got some cool stuff.
So this is a human vertebrae. That's yeah, this is a pretty good.
Well, that's another thing. You always seem to have an endless supply of mandibles anytime I'm in the store.
Of
Also.
human bones.
So.
Yeah, so these are the kinds of things that you'll pretty much always find at my shop.
So
and
like
try to
when
keep it stocked.
like when you first started collecting those things, how did you know when you were getting a good deal on those things?
Research.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I would
Yeah.
just do a lot of research, a lot of price comparison, because there are websites where you can buy human bones
Okay.
legally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of times I'll use those websites to kind of compare all that good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, you know what? I am so not one of those people who like know everything about everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a constant learning process. Everybody constantly is growing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like,
Yeah.
I feel like more people need to admit that.
Mhm.
It is okay to not know everything
know.
about everything.
Right. I agree.
You know? And if a customer comes in and says, whatever, ask me something that I don't know, I don't know.
Right.
And I'm not ashamed of not knowing. Like,
Right.
I just feel like we as people, we're constantly growing and learning. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Anywho.
I totally agree.
That was a random rant.
But no, I know what you're saying. You know, I mean, the shows that I do, there's you know, and basically, I collect comic books and toys, and I mean, there's a few other things like that I didn't even realize I was a collector of until I looked
10.
and I had more than 10. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I could be classified as a whatever collector too. But yeah, I got people that come up in my shows, and I was like, no, honestly, I have no idea I don't know anything about that stuff, you know.
Right.
That happens quite a bit. But so as far as the store goes, so did you guys just kind of like amass like a big collection and then decide that you should probably start selling stuff?
We started out selling at an antique mall. So we had a booth at an antique mall. And we
Okay.
were the only oddities collectors, of course, in that antique mall. But
So did it do well there?
well, antique malls, it's a family-friendly show. Antique malls usually charge a lot. You feel me? They take a lot. It's a lot of booth rent, and then the commission's super a lot. So for you to even make a profit usually is pretty.
Yeah, I believe that's how you and I first started talking in the first place, because I had been into your store a couple times, but then I was asking you about. I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same one, and
yeah.
and then you told me that you were there because I was thinking about going there too.
Very expensive.
Yeah.
So we were in there for a year, and then we were both just kind of like, all right, let's open our own shop. Well, my shop, okay, my store is very tiny. I'm going to warn you all, it's very tiny. But it came up for rent, and during the time that our booth was ending there, so it all just happened very organically.
Okay.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I was sick of like giving another man my monies.
But yeah, well, I understand that. But you got, so you got I mean, honestly, your location, to me, is a prime location.
Yeah.
Because you got that window facing the main street, and we didn't mention this, but it is you can give the address.
Oh,
but
410 West Nipissing Street, Lapeer, Michigan.
Yeah, so it is like right in downtown.
It's right downtown.
Your shop is facing the main road.
Yep.
And so you can see your window.
Yep.
From and you know, if I was Joe Schmo, just walking down the street on a Saturday night, bar hopping or whatever, if I saw what was going on in your store, I would have to go in there.
Right.
Just to see, everything that you got in the window. I mean, you would have to go in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Just to check it out.
Yeah, I agree. That's good. That means I'm doing good.
Yeah, I agree. So you've been in for about 2 years. Did you get a decent reception there? I mean, because let's face it, it definitely sticks out from
All
the rest
other
of the stuff.
businesses?
Yeah. So did you get a decent reception?
Yeah. Nobody has shunned me or anything like that. I mean, I definitely get customers who take one step in, look around, and it's like, walk right out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not for everyone. The biggest insult I got, though, I'm going to share it. An older gentleman came in, which I'd only guess he's maybe in his, like, late 60s.
Okay.
And he's looking around, and he's like, oh, yeah, wow, this is a lot weirder than I thought it was. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Anywho, he's like, so, you mostly sell online, right? I'm like, no, I don't sell online at all.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, so people actually come in here and shop? I'm like, yep, I'm a store. That's why. But, like, the fact that this man just couldn't believe
Right.
that people would
come in there
and buy
shop.
things.
Yeah.
And that was the most insulting, but I'm so chill and laid back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I will hold on to it forever because I don't know, I was dumbfounded.
Yeah.
But I guess he was dumbfounded. Like, he'd never
Okay.
seen a store like that. So
Well, I'm assuming few have.
Yeah, right?
I mean, really. I mean, and that's what's cool. I mean, to me, that's what's so cool about it.
right.
So I don't really, not trying to get political, but
Okay.
but with the stuff, this is like a two-tiered question. Okay, first of all, I'll just ask you this. So you sell some stuff that most people wouldn't sell anymore. I mean, a lot of it's reproductions, but I mean, with all the stuff that's getting banned right now, you sell, some of that stuff like that. So have you had anybody? So you haven't had anybody like complain about that stuff?
No.
Okay.
And I kind of wish I knew what you were talking about. But I
Okay. Well, for instance, I mean, just with all this stuff, like let's say, like long time mascots, like what's going on right now where they're canceling stuff, like say,
you're talking about like
old advertising stuff.
yeah, like Black Americana stuff.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Right.
Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, that they don't produce anymore.
Yeah.
Unless it's like reproduction, but you've never had any issues with.
I've had some issue. One kid,
Oh.
a naive
Okay.
millennial,
Okay. So
come
that's
in and have some issues.
okay.
And it's like the way, I mean, like what happened in history happened in history. You know what I'm saying?
I
We
agree.
don't condone. Most of us don't condone what happened in history.
Exactly, and
You
it's
know?
not about that.
And like,
But I mean, what?
if we burn all this stuff and we destroy all this stuff, well then like history's just going to keep repeating itself and everyone's going to forget about what happened. And like, so when this kid was angry, I was like, hold on, homie. Like, take it easy, So I had to like put him in the mind of a collector.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that brings me to my second part of the question. With all the stuff that is going on right now, with all the stuff getting canceled, and I've thrown some stuff out to you. So do you like salivate when you see that stuff like that is being canceled, or do you try to like hoard it all, thinking, oh, okay, well then, they're not going to produce this anymore, so I better get it, or do you think just because it's been around so long that it's not going to be worth anything down the road?
Oh man, I haven't really put much thought into it, but now that you're making me think about it, I would like to hoard it all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
personally, like
Yeah.
I don't know. People can view me how they want to view me, but like I'm a huge antique person. I like old stuff, and I hate seeing like if the next generation don't get into it, like what's gonna happen to all these antiques and all these, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So like
Yeah, I totally
So, yeah.
understand, and that's kind of why I asked you that question.
yeah, and that's why we collect is like because we don't want that stuff possibly getting destroyed in the hands of somebody else.
Yes.
Like this stuff needs to be preserved and loved and taken care of.
Yes. I agree.
Okay.
I agree with you there.
Ooh, that question got me all hot. Hot
It
in
did.
here.
Sorry.
Ooh.
Um, so, as going back to the store, now, somehow I've been in the store more when you have not been there, and For some reason, I don't know. It's just when it's not like I've been in there a ton, but I
That
think
is
I've only
so
been in
weird.
there like a couple times when you've been there.
Because I'm like
But-
the main, like it's my store.
Well, that's what I want to talk about because, I almost feel bad for your employees because well, I'll tell you why. Because I come in there and, I just go about my business and, but it seems like every time I'm in there, if you're not in there, everybody that comes in there wants to know where you are and is asking your employee where you're at.
Really?
And
That
it's
happens?
like, oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I've seen that happen. I've heard that. I've seen that happen quite a few times. And, she's just like, well, she gets a day off sometimes too.
Right.
She's entitled. So,
Yeah, definitely.
so do you feel, because I would only assume that because of that a lot of people probably come into the store to see you. On top of looking at the oddities.
Yeah.
But do you feel like you yourself are just as big
as big of a hit as like my oddities.
Yeah.
Like,
do you feel like you are synonymous with your store?
yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, okay, since we're on this topic, like I'm very self-conscious and it's a humdinger. All right. I think I have body dysmorphia. Like it's a whole thing.
Oh God.
Anywho, so, but I do think that a lot of people come into my store because they see me in the window, and I think I intrigue people just with my appearance and whatever.
Okay. So I did mention in the beginning that you are statuesque. So you probably hate talking about this, but just to let people know, okay, the first time that I saw you at the store,
Mhm.
I thought you were behind the main counter,
Uh-huh.
and I thought you were standing on something. So, but you are how tall are you?
I'm like 5'11" and a half,
Okay.
so I round
So-
up to 6 foot. You know
Yeah.
why?
Okay.
But I'm 5'11" and a half.
Yeah.
I'm huge.
So, but I'm just saying. So, when people come in, that you're.
I really wish I could swear, but I'm not.
You can swear, just don't call me. Just don't call me.
I always say when people see me, they're like, "Damn, that's a huge bitch," because I am tall. Excuse my language.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
So, like, do you get tired of people asking you about it though?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm good with it. People mostly ask about like my tattoos.
Well, I was gonna get to that next.
Yeah.
So you are a self-described. Obviously, you are an oddity collector, but you are a self-described tattoo collector as well.
Yes.
So, how old were you when you got your first tattoo?
My mom let us all get our first at 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
For people getting their first tattoo.
Yeah.
So did you just
went
like
ham.
go right from there?
Well, like I said, like in high school, I was always that weird girl. Like I always dressed unique, and I got made fun of a lot in high school for the way I dressed and whatnot. And I mean, I look back at myself and I'm like, what was I thinking? But I definitely stayed true to who I was. Like, of course, this is my path. Like, I've always been true to who I was.
Okay.
I'm not following this tattooed fad that everybody else is following. Like,
Right.
It's legit always been my path. And even, like, back before that, I was, like, a major tomboy.
Okay.
So I always like to stand out. I always, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I was never normal, just a normal little girl. Like, I was
But-
always unique.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah, that is good.
So, and you have mentioned this before,
Mhm.
but obviously, a lot of people are going to notice
My chest.
that. Yes, and a lot of people are going to notice the diner tattoo.
Yeah.
And I asked you about it before. So that is not actually based on anything specific.
Nope. I just wanted a 50s diner, and then this is Elvis's pink Cadillac.
Okay.
So I wanted that. And yeah, this is just kind of what he drew up for me. Oh, and then I had it named. Sorry. Could they still hear me? I was back here talking. I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. I think it's still picking up. Yeah, I can still hear you. So
Okay, good. So when it came to the name of the diner, I was gonna put my middle name is Renee, so I was gonna put Renee's Diner.
okay.
Well, then I was like, man, I should put my mom's name, so she won't be like mad at me because my mom at first wasn't really a fan. So I got Lori's Diner
of the tattoos.
Of the tattoos, yeah.
Okay.
Now she's totally used to it, but
Okay.
so I got her
See,
name.
I never noticed that before.
Yes, it's Lori's Diner.
Okay, I only ever saw the diner part. Okay.
Yeah. So I remember, like, when I got the outline done, I sent it to my mom, and I was like, Mom, what do you think? And she's like, I'm flattered, I guess. I was like, dang it, I should have got my middle name. Like, you're not even grateful.
So, like, how many...
Sessions.
How many... Yeah. Well, yeah, how many sessions did that specific one... I'm going to ask that next. About the whole picture.
Was 4 sessions.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many tattoos altogether? Well, yeah, I guess I would say sessions because it'd be probably too hard to say.
Well, I lost track at 40 tattoos.
Okay.
It like some people keep track of like how many hours. There's no way I could keep track of how many hours.
Right.
You know, some people keep track of how many sessions. I don't freaking remember, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, yeah.
It would be hard to.
Well, obviously you would lose track after a certain amount of time.
I always just say like I lost count after 40. So.
Okay.
I'm in the 40s.
Yeah. Well, yeah, at least.
And then maybe like once I get a few more, I'll count them, and then once I get over 50, then I'll be like, oh, I'm over 50.
So you don't think you're over 50?
No, I counted like. I actually counted during the corona, and it was 40 something.
Okay.
But I can't remember.
Okay.
I just know I was, and then my ex was in the 60s.
Okay.
So we counted.
Do you always go to the same place?
So, I wish people would ask more questions like this. You know what I'm saying? Because like when you're getting a tattoo and you have a design in your head, you should find an artist who specializes in what you're getting. You feel me?
Yes. Because you've shown me a couple of like your nieces for example. You showed me that one. And that so that was like kind of a different style than some of your other ones.
I hate so many of my arm tattoos.
For real? Already?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, yeah. This leopard crap and these leaves, like.
See, I like it. I do like the leopard, but
yeah, that's probably the thing I regret most is my leopard. And like I had a really terrible thing over here.
I was going to ask you about that.
So I blacked it out,
okay.
And I got to like go over it again because it's not solid black yet, but
so that's just what it's going to be. It's just going to be solid
forever.
black. Okay.
Yes.
All
and
right.
a lot of people think you can like put white ink over, which you can, but it fades really fast, so you're going to have to like keep it up if you want to put white on top of black. AKA pain in the hinds.
Yeah. Can you tell us what it was that you covered up?
Was it just mermaid?
So it was just bad art.
It was a
craftsmanship
cover-up of a cover-up.
Okay.
Of a cover-up.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So it was a bad mermaid, and then I had the bad mermaid turned into a little bit better of a mermaid with some scenery, and I hated it. Oh. So then I was like, all right, let's black this thing out. So
you're not thinking about blacking out those.
I really want
to. Or would you have to black those out, or could you do something over them besides that?
I think I could do something over them, but regardless, like the leopard print will still show through. Like I could get something blasted with super bright colors, whatever, or something really dark that would make it obvious.
So do they? I love it that you use that word. By the way,
You love what?
I love it that you use that word.
Humdinger?
Yeah.
I know, I'm like an old
Like
man.
I hadn't heard that in so long, but I do. There's a lot of those old words that I would love to bring back.
Right.
But so like, do they charge you? Do you get charged just to black out a tattoo just as much as you would normally
Yes.
for like a do they really?
Yeah, it's usually kind of
Okay.
by the hour.
Yeah.
Or a lot of artists will
I've-
just say like,
I've only got one.
you got
so,
one?
yeah.
Okay, that's good. At least
So-
you got one.
Yeah, but I mean, I always say, oh, let me get more.
Was it in the
Who knows?
90s?
No, it wasn't. I didn't get it until I was like older.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
but
Where's it at?
it's just right here. It's just right there. But we're here to talk about you today.
Oh, wait, come on, man. That's not fair. I think your viewers want to see what you got
No,
going
no,
on.
no.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll stop.
Okay, so since well unless there's any other. So are you a big Elvis fan?
I used to be. Like I have him tattooed on my back, a silhouette of him.
Yeah, I noticed that
But
for the first time today.
I like Elvis for who he was. Like
Okay.
I've read so many books on like who the man was,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I love Elvis.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
His movies were no bueno.
No.
I think everyone knew that.
Right.
His music was good.
So
His pelvic thrusting was incredible.
so going all the way back to the so there's a scene in Pulp Fiction that got cut out where I don't remember who was asking who, but anyway, it came from Quentin Tarantino, and he always thought that you were either a Beatles person or an Elvis person. So obviously you're
I really love the Beatles.
well, you can love both,
Okay, I'm a lover of both.
but you like one better was his theory that you had to like one better.
Oh.
So pick one. I'll give you 5 seconds.
Music-wise, I'd pick the Beatles.
Okay. See, I agree. I like the Beatles better. I never really got into Elvis.
Okay.
A lot of my friends love Elvis, but I don't know why. I just can't. Maybe it was because I grew up with older, sloppy, sweaty Elvis.
Right. Yeah,
And
probably.
but I mean, I don't have anything against him, but I just largely prefer the Beatles.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure. Yeah.
I mean, who knows if that's even a valid question anymore? But that was just something that Tarantino came up with in Pulp Fiction. But
I feel like we should ask the viewers because isn't this live and people can post?
I'm not sure what's going on here.
Oh, okay.
It was there, and then I don't know if it's still going out,
I was just gonna
out over there. But
just watch parties ended. Oh,
yeah, so I'm not exactly.
Just kidding.
It did or didn't?
Oh no! I just kidding. To me, asking the viewers their thoughts.
Okay, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but they can watch the replay and they can chime in on the replay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned COVID, and how has that? I know that it's affected your store somewhat,
yeah.
and it there's no way that it can't affect a small business like yours. So what are some of the effects? I mean, I just saw recently that you tried to
Open.
kind of open back up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still open, which, like, good, because so many people of my friends who own small businesses have had to close during this. And, like, it's really heart-wrenching to see.
Yes.
Luckily, I just have a really good, like, customer. Like, my customers are awesome. They really are. And they really focus on, like, all right, the auditorium's dope. She's dope. Let's make sure we keep her floating. So, really, I mean, I got to give the shout out to, like, all my freaking customers. They're
Yeah.
the reasons I'm still standing.
And that's one of the reasons why I bug you so much, because I definitely support different.
Right, right.
And like, I mean, I already said it, but your store couldn't be more different when you're walking around with everything else that's going on downtown. Now, would you say that Lapeer, the downtown where you're at, is making a comeback? Because it seems like a lot more businesses are going in there, because I mean, I've lived around there for about 15 years or so.
Yeah.
And when I first moved up there was really nothing in the
Right.
downtown anymore. and it seemed like restaurants would open up and then they'd be gone. They'd just struggle.
Hmm.
But it seems to me
It
like
seems like it's
things,
incredible. And
yeah,
it seems like there's so much to do downtown Lapeer. Like, people always say there's nothing to do in Lapeer, and I can't. I don't know how. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like, Lapeer has so much to offer,
hmm
and especially downtown Lapeer. Like, go get dinner with your family, or go get drinks with your friends, and then go shop the small, awesome little local businesses down there, and then go get some
cookies
froyo at the blend
or some cookies.
or some
'Cause
cookies.
those are amazing.
You know.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, and I'm really excited to be part of downtown Lapeer's future, because I really think it's going to be incredible.
So, is there a reason for that? Do you think that? I mean, do you think that somebody like maybe in the DDA has like made a concerted effort to try to bring stuff back?
Probably.
Have they lowered the rent? Or
See, I don't know. I don't know too much.
okay.
Like, I'm that business owner who just kind of sits back.
Well, there's
You know
nothing
what
wrong
I'm
with that.
saying? Because my friend, she owns Elm Beauty Bar downtown Lapeer. So go there for all your facials, waxings. Anywho, she just opened a small
I'll
boutique
make sure
too.
I do.
Yeah. But yeah, like, she's really big into. She's just very business savvy. She likes to, mingle, and I'm just more the chill, like,
Okay.
just kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just do them all that.
Right. Yeah. No, that's good.
I don't know if that's a good thing, but, like, it's working for me. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have said that.
Well, why not? I mean, if you're happy, I mean, you're happy with what you got going on. That's a good thing. I mean, really, what more could you ask for?
Yeah, for sure. For
Okay.
sure. I'm doing yeah. Go
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
living out
Exactly.
my dreams.
Right. Okay. So did you have? I mean, so if you didn't get into this stuff until you were a little bit older, was that a dream, really, or did that come along later? Or I mean, I guess we sort of covered it,
I
but
know that I hate working for people.
okay,
Okay, I don't do well with authority,
okay,
with being told what to do. I don't.
okay,
So I think I always knew that I wanted to do something for myself.
yeah,
Like, when I first graduated from high school, I was going to school for fashion design.
hmm
Like, I really wanted to design children's clothes. But yeah, so, and then after that, I went to cosmetology school, and I got my license, because that way you're still kind of working for yourself, but I hated doing hair. And then at one point, I was a cake decorator,
really,
like a professional, with fondant and tiers and
wow,
the whole, but whew, my anxiety, so I quit doing cakes.
really,
But yeah, so I always kind of, like, all the roads I headed down were for that.
okay,
I didn't have to work for the man.
yeah,
I could just be Kristin doing Kristin.
yeah. Well, no, that's good.
So
So that is a dream
that is a dream.
for
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And here's my advice, because I feel like a lot of people. This is what I always tell people. Like, there's so many people who have great ideas and they just talk, and they talk in circles, and they don't do.
hmm
Like, go out and do, people. You know what? Like, I'm not smart. I'm not intelligent whatsoever. But I opened a business. I am running this business, and I'm doing pretty okay. You know what I'm saying? It
Okay.
doesn't
Well, I'm
take,
sure you are selling yourself short, but
No, it doesn't take a rocket scientist.
okay.
So just, like, that's all I'm saying is, like, there's just so many people who wish that they had the courage and the guts and the whatever to go out and, like, do it. Just
Yeah.
do it, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, no, honestly, that's great advice
It
because
is.
a lot of people probably wouldn't even. I mean, again, going back to like how you and I started talking
Yeah.
at the store.
Right.
Like I had no clue how I would like start something like that.
I didn't either.
So yeah, well, that's what you said.
I had no idea, and I
Right.
did things backwards, and I did things. I didn't have anybody guiding me.
hmm
I just figured it out.
Yeah.
And that's what life is. It's just figuring it out. And a lot of people, I mean, there's so much research you can do, and there's so many people you can talk to about how to get started to
Yeah.
do things. Like, it's really just a matter of, like, believing in yourself,
Mhm.
and knowing that you got this.
Okay. Well, that's great advice.
I mean, I'm just saying, there's so many people who I just want to shake. Like, they got awesome ideas, but they don't have the guts
Yes.
to do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's good advice.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
I'm a
because good.
Be a doer.
Good, because yeah, there's a lot of people. I mean, I might even be one of them, where it's just like
Do I
you
need
just
to
talk
shake you?
yourself. Yeah, maybe,
Come here,
maybe
Joe.
a little bit. Yeah. Um, so back to the COVID thing. So your hours have definitely changed. Do you want to mention your hours or what you have going on right now? Because I know that you're doing a lot of stuff by appointment now
Yeah.
instead.
So I did try to open up, went back to pretty much my normal hours, but there's just not many people were coming through the door, and so I went ahead and then I went back to Tuesdays through Fridays by appointments only. And the cool thing about that is, like, if you need to make a 7 o'clock appointment, like, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I did that because hopefully people will feel more safe
Mhm.
to come shop. Maybe if it's just me
Yeah.
and them.
Do you think that was part of the issue? I mean, because
I don't know.
when I was there, when I stopped in when you weren't there, there was quite a few people coming in
That's good.
still.
And
But-
and it's through, and that's what my employee says, like, people are coming on the weekends, but just during the weekdays it's just,
okay.
you know, and I'm a mom, like,
Yep. Yeah, I know you got a lot going on.
life's crazy
yeah,
right
right.
now. So yeah, so I just feel like hopefully it'll make people feel more safe and they can call up, make an appointment. Like I said, from flipping 9 to 8 p.m., you know,
Okay.
you can come
Yeah.
get your own little private shopping experience.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, that is cool.
Yeah.
Some after hours
Right.
shopping stuff.
Right. So so do you offer adult beverages?
Oh my gosh, I wish.
I'm just kidding.
I
I know you probably. I know you can't.
right.
So
So Tuesdays through Fridays, just a recap, Tuesdays through Fridays by appointment only, and Saturdays we are open from 12 to 5 for walk-ins. If anybody's listening and they got a pen, 248-221-0370. That's the number to call.
now there's excellent. There's now there's a question that I accidentally skipped over that I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Or maybe I don't think I did ask this one. Is there an item out there that you would like but have not been able to obtain,
Yeah.
like a golden goose, if you will, something that has eluded you? And if
Okay.
so, what?
All right, so yeah, so I have a gold piece, and I have always said that, like, I know I made it when I got a, like, now y'all gotta guess what it is. I'm just kidding. No, so I really want a taxidermy giraffe mount, like from the neck up.
Do they exist?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay.
They're just like, I mean, they go for some monies, you
Mhm.
know, like up to
Oh, I'm
like
sure.
10 grand.
How much?
Like 10 grand.
Oh, wow.
Well, I seen one for 3,500.
Somewhere around here.
Okay, so there's an oddities expo that travels around the U.S.
Okay.
And they came to Michigan for their very first time, summer of 2019, and so we went ahead and we had a booth there. Well, one of the other vendors, had a taxidermy, a giraffe head, for $3,500, and I told my husband at the time, I was like, "Yo,
Yeah.
like if this doesn't sell, we's walking out with that today." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That giraffe sold within the first half hour of the doors being open to the public.
Really.
So it just slipped through my little fingers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a taxidermy giraffe head.
Okay. Well, you live and you learn. I mean, like I
There's my
said,
goals.
like I said. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
And
If
people's probably gonna think that's so lame.
no, not at all. I mean, that's I've never seen one.
I really love taxidermy. You know what I'm saying? Like taxidermy is what gets my like juices
Okay.
really flowing.
Yeah. All right.
So
Okay.
if
Like
anybody has any-
how long? Just real quick, how long have you been into that then, or like was that one of the original things that you sought out? when you guys were going to the antique shops, or no?
When no.
Okay.
Usually it's just whatever caught our eye. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? Like anything. Like it's really just about what catches your eye, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But we got a huge South African eland head mount taxidermy. And that thing is, I mean, probably as big as me. This thing's massive.
Okay.
And I feel like it's after we got that massive piece for a really good price, that's when we were kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
what other massive, huge,
Right.
good taxidermy deals can we find?
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's interesting. I doubt that they will have one where I shop, but I will keep an eye out. I
Yeah,
will
thank
keep
you.
an eye out
I
for it.
appreciate you.
No problem. Okay, just really quick. We're almost out of time, but just one more thing that I wanted to mention. You and I have talked about this, and I hope you don't mind me bringing it up. But I think you've mentioned it out on Facebook
I'm
before.
pretty open.
Okay. You were thinking about trying to move into a bigger store.
Yeah.
Is that still going on, or no?
I gave the people an offer, and I put it in God's hands, and I'm just kind of like, what's meant to be will be.
So it's still
And
kind of up in the air at this point?
Yeah, they never called me back, and like,
Oh, really?
I'm not gonna pursue them because like,
Okay.
it's in God's hands. I'm not gonna, because I'm like 50-50 now
Yeah.
that I'm like a single woman. Like, can I do a bigger store?
Yeah.
It's just also scary.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
just, like,
understand.
gave it to
Yeah,
God,
that's
and like, what's meant
okay.
to be will be.
Okay. So you're just kind of still waiting for.
Still just sitting back. I really like my little spot. It's
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I understand you wanting to move into that store, but you got a prime location.
I know.
In my opinion.
I know.
Also. So it's kind of, what's the old saying? 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Right.
So, well, anyway, we are almost out of time.
Okay.
So thank you again for being here.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on here and being our first guest.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Is there anything that you would like to plug or get out there? I mean, I think we kind of covered most of it, but
Yeah.
but any parting words that you'd like to?
Yeah. Even if you're not a collector of these weird things, I would definitely suggest still coming and checking out my shop because it is a museum. There's things you're not gonna see, and then most likely you'll get to meet me. But by the sounds of it, poor Tim has terrible luck of me being there. But yeah, so just stop on out, and thanks for listening.
All right. And I will second that. Definitely, if you are in the area, or even if you just want to make a road trip for people that are listening to this wherever.
Make sure you call first by appointments only.
Yeah, definitely do that.
Unless it's on Saturdays, then you can just drop it.
But yeah, definitely. Even if you are not necessarily into quote oddities, definitely check it out. And as far as this show goes, we are hoping to do some more of these. So just keep checking the ONTV page and my personal page. And we will let you know the next time we are going to do an episode of the tentatively titled Collection Reflection. And we will see everyone next time. And happy birthday, Kristin.